Hello, America. This is Call of Duty Goddess. Today is July the 22nd, 2016. I did a video this morning titled Bombshell, the Turkish coup and why it happened. And that is where I talked about the Turkish coup. And then the very same day, turns out John Kerry was in Russia signing an agreement. Well, lo and behold, I've just found out why John Kerry signed that agreement. Thanks to Emmy, which is a force to be reckoned with. Thank you, dear. So let's get started here. Just give you a reminder here of what happened the same exact day that the fake coup in Turkey took place, and it was because, I believe, John Kerry was in Russia signing an agreement with Putin. We kind of switched sides. So let's get into the new news about this, shall we? Boom! Fox News World. Russian warplanes reportedly bombed the U.S. base in Syria. That was from July the 22nd, 2016. Russian warplanes reportedly bombed a secret military base in Syria used by elite American and British forces last month. The Wall Street Journal reported Thursday that the Russian strike on the CIA-linked site was part of a campaign by Russia to pressure the White House to agree to closer cooperation in the Syrian strikes, U.S. military and intelligence officials said. Despite the fact that some forces could have been killed and the bombing dampened relations between Russia and the Pentagon and CIA, the White House and State Department still pursued a compromise. The U.S. and Russia agreed to a pact last week to target airstrikes against the Al-Qaeda affiliate in the region, Nusra Front, despite objections from the Pentagon and CIA. Russia agreed to stop airstrikes on U.S.-backed rebels and restrain the Syrian air campaign. The two sides are still talking about designations where Russia would need U.S. approval to conduct an airstrike. And there's a chart of the civilian deaths since 2015. According to the Wall Street Journal, deal backers in the White House and State Department believe U.S. airstrikes on the Nusra Front in areas that were previously occupied by Russian forces would provide protection for allies in Syria. However, officials in the Pentagon and CIA contend that Washington bowed to Moscow in the deal and believe that the U.S. needs to confront Russia. The Russian strike on the base occurred on June 16th. The U.S. and British forces helped maintain what is described as a buffer zone in Jordan. Yeah, right. Forces go into Syria to help protect Jordan from the Islamic State, U.S. officials told the Journal. Forces didn't spend the night due to security reasons. Nearly a day before the strike, 20 of 24 British Special Forces pulled out of the base. The U.S. tracked a Russian plane headed towards the base. The warplane dropped a cluster bomb, according to U.S. and rebel officials. After the first strike, U.S. Central Command Air Operations Center in Qatar called Russia's air campaign headquarters in Latakia, Syria, to tell them that the base shouldn't be attacked. However, Russian forces struck again nearly 90 minutes after the call was made. Russian pilots didn't respond to U.S. calls using frequencies the two sides had previously agreed to use in case of an emergency. At least 4 rebels were killed in strikes. Russian officials initially told the Pentagon that the military thought it was an Islamic State facility. But U.S. officials rejected the notion because of what they described as a unique way the base was fortified, the Journal reported. Russians then said that the Jordanians had given them the go-ahead to strike the base, but the U.S. double-checked and said no such authorization was given. Later, Russia told the U.S. that their headquarters wasn't in a position to call off the strike because U.S. didn't provide them with the proper coordinates of the base. U.S. officials said that the Pentagon had never asked the Russians to steer clear of that area because it wasn't close to the front lines and Russian aircraft didn't operate in that part of Syria anyway. So let me give you a quick translation on that, folks. The U.S. did not give Russia the coordinates of the building because it was actually an ISIS training camp. Just a guess on my part, though. The strike has increased distrust between Russian and American forces in Syria. According to Wall Street Journal, the U.S. didn't want to give Russia any more information than they had to. Since the strike, the U.S. has told Russia to steer clear of the Jordanian border. As John Kerry runs to Russia to sign a secret agreement that we don't know anything about, while at the same time Erdogan stages a fake coup on the very same day to get back at Kerry for signing this agreement with Putin. It's like Pretty Little Liars or something. I hate to say this, but I want you to listen to Putin a couple years ago. Wasn't that long ago at all. And here I am. I'm believing a person that is one of the most hated people in the world. And here I believe him over my president. So let's listen to this.
Я тоже об этом сказал. Вот президент Обама упомянул об одной из угроз, это ИГИЛ. Ну а кто помогал вооружать людей, которые в Сирии боролись с Асадом-то? Кто создавал благоприятный политический информационный климат? Кто подталкивал к поставкам оружия? А вы чего, разве вы не понимаете, кто там воюет? Там воюют наемники, в основном. Вы знаете, что там платят деньги? И они воюют там, где платят больше. Вот они вооружились, им платят определенную сумму. Мне даже называли эти суммы, которые им платят. Они там воюют уже с оружием, все, у них уже не отнимешь. Потом выяснилось, что в другом месте чуть-чуть начали побольше платить. Они там туда перетекут. Вот они захватили месторождения нефтяные, там, скажем, где-то в Ираке или в Сирии. Нефть начали добывать. У них эту нефть покупают, транспортируют, продают. Почему санкции не накладывают на всех, кто это делает? А что, разве Соединенные Штаты не знают, кто это делает? Это разве не их союзники этим занимаются? У них что, нет силы, возможности повлиять на своих союзников? Или они не хотят влиять? Зачем они бомбят ИГИЛ? Вот там начали нефть добывать и больше платить. И там часть сразу этих боевиков перетекла из так называемой цивилизованной оппозиции. Сразу же перетекла в ИГИЛ, потому что там больше платят. Я считаю, что это абсолютно невыверенная, непрофессиональная политика, без опоры на реалии. Надо поддержать цивилизованную демократическую оппозицию в Сирии.
Well, I think this is well worth keeping an eye on, big time. This is serious global issues here. We pissed off Erdogan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. Let's see if Germany and the UK go the same way as Kerry did. I have a feeling they're going to. I think that may have something to do with the Brexit as well. And I also want to add, whether we're fighting on the side of Iran or Qatar and Saudi Arabia, it's all the same devil. We got to get out of that completely. This is Call of Duty Goddess signing off, and as always, I've got your 6.